Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
He's alive!
Welcome to Where the Weird Ones Are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood, as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Where the Weird Ones Are. I am your host. My name is Kevin, and my co-host is with me today, and her name is Tanya. Tanya, say hi.
Hey.
Oh, you don't have anything fucking weird to say? Like, oh, if I was flying a broom, it would be fucking straw and wood.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Ah, that's what I expected from you. Anyways, we had fuck, I'm gonna fuck up her name again.
I think
Leila.
she's
Leila.
Leila, I think she said it.
Leila.
But she just called herself Lee, so just call her Lee.
All right. So we had Lee on the podcast today. It got really interesting. She kind of gave both my sister and I a quick little spirit reading where we both have attachment spirits. Come to find out, the spirit that she had saw with me turns out to be one of my spirit guides. We talk about her experiences with her mediumship. My sister gets into tarot card readings with her.
Yeah.
And I think my sister's gonna try and get into tarot.
Well, it's ADHD, go through phases of things that interest you. I don't have my cards yet, but when I get them, I'll study them for all of like a month, maybe two. Sometimes I even go as far as a year with the things that I get into. Like I crocheted, like when I got into crochet, I did that for a hot like year and a half. And then in the middle of putting a blanket together, I just stopped and haven't picked it up since for like 2 years. So I mean, when I say I'm going to get into tarot, I mean, I'll do it for a little bit, but I'm not going to you're not going to be interviewing me on the podcast. Like, oh, how'd you get into tarot?
Ooh. So I have a quick story for you.
Okay.
So there was this couple in Australia. I don't know what year it was, but it was semi recent. I want to say 2015. I could be wrong. Fuck, I forgot the girl's name, but the dude's name's Julian.
Okay.
They're both like 18-ish. They both live at home with their parents. Both very devout Christians, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So they go out on a picnic and they're driving down this dirt road, and he sees roadkill on the side of the road, and he's just like, what the? He couldn't tell what it was, and he's like, what the fuck is that? But they keep going. He mentions that there's roadkill on the side of the road. Do you know this story?
I listen to true crime podcasts all the time. Of course I know this fucking story.
Fuck you. I was thinking I was going to tell you a story you'd never heard before.
Well, continue. You're telling it so well.
All right. So they go out for this picnic, and on their way back, Julian looks at his girlfriend and goes, hey, On our way back, I would like to stop and check out this roadkill. I can't tell what it was. And she's like, I guess, but we have to be home by 3:30, so make it quick.
Hmm.
So he's driving along, he's kind of like scanning the side of the road, and then they're almost to the end of the road, and he's like, oh, fuck, I think we passed it. Do you mind if I get out and go back real quick to check it? She's like, it's almost 3:30. If you do it really fast so that we can make it home by 3:30. So he's out and he sees he's walking down the road and he ends
Mhm.
up going around the corner and he's at a point where he no longer sees the car.
Mhm.
And then he finally comes across this roadkill and he's looking at it. He doesn't know what it is, and he's about to pull the brush out to because it was kind of like underneath something.
Mhm.
So he says, and it just everything went black. He got hit in the back of the head.
Whoa.
So his girlfriend's sitting in the car, um, by herself, getting very annoyed at the amount of time that he's taking. She's looking back, looking in the mirrors, and then she gets out of the car.
Bad choice.
And once she gets out of the car, she sees a man or a figure standing at the corner of the road in all black. And he's got like a mask and everything on. And she's standing there. And before she can even do anything, he charges her, tackles her to the ground, takes all of her clothes off, and then hog ties her and blindfolds her. And then she hears a car. And then she hears him run away. His footsteps go away, and then a car come pulling up next to her. And then she's thrown in the back of a trunk. And then when she wakes up, she sees, or no, he takes the blindfold off. He drags her through some woods, takes the blindfold off, starts digging a hole, lets her know, like shows her the shovel and shows her a knife or whatever, and starts digging the hole. And once
Oh,
the hole is
Jesus.
deep enough, he fucking throws her in the hole. And the whole time she's thinking that she's gonna die, he's gonna bury her alive, and nobody's ever gonna hear from her again. And then he just walks away. She's in the hole. She's hog-tied, so she can't see. She can't even like get up enough to see. So, and then Julian wakes up in the middle of the woods, also naked, with his hands tied, and then just randomly he sees a knife sitting right next to him, so conveniently.
Mhm.
He cuts the ties off his wrists, cuts the ties off his ankles, and starts running through the woods trying to get away from the spot that he is at. And
Mhm.
then as he's running, he starts randomly yelling for help. And he ends up being close enough to his girlfriend where his girlfriend hears and she starts yelling out to him for help. So he starts running towards her voice, finds her in this hole, jumps in the hole, frantically cuts the ties off of her, and then they jump out of the hole. They start running, and they come across a sleeping bag with food and water rolled inside of it.
Hmm.
And they don't think anything of it, and they just grab it and they start running. And um, meanwhile, this is going on. His mother what had been waiting for him, and when he didn't show up, she starts going out. She went out to the road, and she's like waiting. It's like 3:30. It's 3:35. She's like, I haven't heard from my son. What the fuck? And then she sees this plastic bottle in her fence, and she goes
Yep.
and grabs it, and there's a note inside of it, and she pulls it out, and it was like some kind of satanic cult that said, if you ever want to see your son again, don't call the police. And she was like, fuck that shit. I'm calling the police. So she called the police and there was like a search going on for them.
Yep.
And they ended up being missing for 7 days. And this farmer was just out on this like tote road in his pickup truck when he up ahead all of a sudden comes stumbling out of the woods is these two naked people. And he's like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, and they wave him down. He gives them a ride, and then they, get picked up. They're sunburnt and their lips are dry and they have bug bites all over them.
Mm.
So the police, question them and they tell their story. They had been running through the woods for 7 days trying to figure out how to get out. One of the days, actually the second day, once after they were together, they realized that they ran in a circle because they were back at the hole. But when
Oh
they got
shit.
back to the hole, they found a bag full of supplies, full of more food. And they're like, this is the worst
Weird.
fucking kidnapper I have ever seen in my life.
It's almost like the kidnapper wanted them to live.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So they grab the bag and they run. So they were trying to corroborate their stories. And this is what really happened. Julian, when he went back to look at this roadkill, he went to a hollow tree where he pulled out supplies like a shovel, a knife, black clothing, and a mask. Turns out that Julian wanted to have sex with his girlfriend out of wedlock because he could not wait until they were married to have sex. He wanted to have sex so bad that he pulled off this elaborate thing. And the only reason why the police found out was because all of the stuff, all the shovels and everything that was out in these woods,
Mhm.
they linked to him. They were his shit. They were all his, bought with his money, with only his fingerprints on it. And that's when they confronted him. And he was just like, yeah, I just wanted to have sex with my girlfriend. So what he did these 7 days was they're naked, they're in this sleeping bag at night, and he's like, hey, it's cold out at night, and he's like, hey, in order to get warm, we gotta have sex to stay warm. And she never gave in. She never had sex with him all 7 days to try and get warm. She's like, no, absolutely not. I will wait until they were scheduled to be married like the next year,
Yeah.
but he couldn't wait. And I fucking I just when I heard the story, I was like, you how desperate do you have to be to have sex? Like seriously.
Right. I mean, especially knowing that you're getting married in a year and you're gonna have sex then. I mean,
And then you'll probably have all the sex you wanted. And what happened is she didn't want to be with him after that, obviously.
obviously, yeah.
He tore her clothes off and hog-tied her and threw her in a fucking hole. She literally thought she was gonna die all 7 days.
It's a good thing that he misjudged his mother though. Like he thinking that she really wouldn't call the cops.
Yeah. He
Because
tried
if she
to play it
hadn't,
off
then
as like some satanic cult that's actually well known in the area,
yeah,
but
yeah, that's sad.
yeah,
But
thought it was an interesting story to tell.
that is, I mean, it's definitely one of the most unique true crime things. But I mean, good for her for sticking to her guns and and not having sex with him. And I mean, good for him too, because if she had sex with him, he might have some like, extra charges,
Yeah, that's true.
sexual assault charges.
It would be. I think it would have been
It's
it
called
almost have been forced,
yeah,
basically.
it's called like rape by deceit or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty much when you lie to somebody to make them have sex with you,
right.
which I think kidnapping someone and making them think that their life is in danger is a, you know,
And that they have to have sex with you to get warm
right.
is falls under that category. I don't know if Australia has that,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
but
I guess. But
I know the US does, so
the US, well, Lucky for him, he's not in the US.
Anyways, everybody, I hope you enjoy this episode with Lee. I definitely enjoyed talking to her. I'm pretty sure my sister enjoyed talking to her. What did you think about Lee, Tanya?
I thought I'm always kind of skeptical of, like mediums because there's so many frauds out there. I mean, I do think there are people who have definite gifts, but there are frauds. And I think just the reading that she gave you alone just kind of solidified it for me because there's no way she could have known. And I think it's funny how I mean, we'll see when we get into the interview how when I guess the wrong person, the person who was actually there with you kind of just, gets in her face like, no, 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 no. So,
Right.
and she gives us more information and then we can figure out who it is. And that's how you know that someone is for real.
Right. Exactly.
Because she gave us information because the initial information could have been a couple different people actually. And then she was like,
No, you're right.
yeah. So then she gave us more information to kind of solidify who it was. And it's not like it's information that she could have just like checked out our social media and been like, oh, okay. So, so yeah, I think, I feel like she is legit.
Yeah, me too. I get that feeling too. So,
Yep.
all right. If you guys have experiences with paranormal, supernatural, any conspiracies that you have a lot of information about that you really want to talk about, you can hit me up on my email where the weird ones are at gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram where underscore the weird ones are. You can DM me there. You can hit me up on the YouTube. Either comment. I'm not 100% sure if you can actually message on YouTube though, but I'm not sure. You can also follow my sister at T Sapiel on Instagram. She's kind of retarded. I'm just kidding.
That's not politically correct.
I know. That's
Not
why I said
inaccurate.
I'm just kidding.
Not inaccurate, but not politically correct.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I don't care because words are just fucking words. You're the only one that gives them power. If you're offended, then be offended, bitch.
Fuck you.
All right. I hope you enjoy the episode. Have a blessed fucking day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weird Ones. I'm Kevin. Tanya, say hi.
Hi.
Today we have Leila. She is a medium. She has a few experiences with that tarot card reading, and I'll just let her tell you all about herself. Leila, why don't you tell the maybe 27 people that listen to this all about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Lee. I am the owner of Spellbound Sky. We do a lot of different spiritual things, tarot, spirit connections, crossings, cleansings, a lot of different things. I've been doing it since I was younger. Now not tarot. Tarot I've been only doing for about 5 or 6 years, but I've known about my gifts since I was young, way younger, 10, 11, 12 area. And I actually had my first experience in a house that we lived in, and that's kind of how I figured it out. I didn't really get in touch with it till about, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, but I've kind of known I could do different things for a while.
So do you have any social medias or any websites or anything you want to plug before I start asking you questions?
Yes, I'm on Instagram. Well, my business page is Spellbound Out Sky. It's also Spellbound Sky on Facebook. You can also find me Lee Johnson on Facebook. I am Unapologetic Lee. That's LEI 22 on Instagram, TikTok, and I also have Twitter, but I don't use that one too much. So my Instagram is the most frequented.
Nice. Nice. So do you like movies?
I'm more like more books, but yeah, I
More
do
book.
watch a lot of movies. I think horror is my favorite.
Horror is my favorite too. That's why I was asking. So I wanted to ask what your favorite horror movie is, or what's your favorite horror book?
Now, okay, anything Stephen King. Anybody that likes horror, come on, Stephen King. All top.
Absolutely.
1866 was my absolute favorite book. Or was it 1966? I don't. I know what book I'm thinking of, but I forget the name of it. By Stephen King. But now, when you ask me movies, are we talking about the one that like scared me the most, or are we talking about the one that was like the best?
Like the best, hands down. Well, how about give me both?
Okay. The one that scared me the most was the nun. I have a thing about nuns. Pineapples. Uh, no, not at all. The best would have to be all the Conjurings. I did some research actually on the Conjuring houses at one time. So that whole series was just amazing to me. And that's where I kind of went off on the Nun series, and yeah,
Yeah.
nope, nope, not at all.
So I really like The Conjuring because mostly what when I watch horror movies, it's the ghost ones that scare me the most because that shit can actually happen. But my favorite
Right.
out of the horror movies are zombie movies just because I like seeing like a dystopian kind of world that I feel like I could survive in. So that's why
Right.
I like that. Like Dawn of the Dead is probably like my favorite out of all the um zombie movies. Tanya, what's your favorite horror movie?
Um, I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise. When we used to watch that movie all the time when we were kids, remember? But
Yes.
I love those movies. But I think the scariest movies are the ones that, things like, not to say that things like The Conjuring couldn't actually happen, because that's based off of a true story supposedly, but it's the likelihood of it happening isn't really that high. So things like when a stranger calls, like the calls
Oh
coming from
yeah.
inside the house.
Yeah.
So those kinds of movies, like the things that, could happen to anybody,
Right.
are the scariest to me. And because, like another human being is the monster, and that's the scariest
Yeah.
thing.
That's yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah.
I was just watching a documentary that takes place in Texas. It's called The Texas Killing Fields. I only made it through halfway because I started crying.
Mm.
So, do you know anything about the Texas
I
Killing
haven't
Fields?
watched it yet. I haven't. And actually, I saw it, and actually, I just saw it for the first time the other day. The preview for it. And I actually have that on my to watch list. Um, so it's funny that you bring that up because I actually have some friends out that way.
Oh
So
yeah.
it will kind of definitely hit home for me. Like, okay, this is right down the street from like anywhere that I could be at.
Right.
So
It's scary because they found so many bodies out there, so many, and it just
yeah,
and
yeah,
you can't see it, and nobody goes out there, so it
yep.
was
And I mean,
definitely.
think about it.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, Texas is so big. There's so much out here, and there's a lot of farmland. There's a lot of
Hmm.
old ranch houses and stuff. I can't imagine, what really goes on in some of these places out here.
Oh, I believe it. My kids and I drove. We went on a road trip out to Arizona. I know I keep talking about it on like every episode, but it was the most traveling I've ever done in my life. And we drove through
Uh-huh.
Texas, and we drove through the windmills, and there's
Okay.
nothing out there, and it was pretty cool to
Yeah,
see
at
at the
all.
same time though. But anyways, so you want to walk us through the first time that you realized that you have the gift of mediumship?
Okay, it was really weird. Um, it was really weird. We lived in this house in La Junta in Colorado. And it was a really creepy house. I remember, and now mind you, I don't remember this step by step, but I remember most of it. Um, and we had just moved in, and there was something really off about this house. And again, like this was before I knew I could do anything, so I didn't know how to be like, oh wait, hold on, let me see, what this or this does. But I was drawn to this bedroom, and I thought it was like the coolest bedroom in the world. Mind you, I'm from the '90s, so like I had the Titanic poster. Like it was awesome. I loved this room because it was my first time ever seeing a room with like a slanted ceiling, and I just thought it was so cool because I'm like, I'm gonna make me a little fort over here, my little reading area. Um, and it brought me a sense of comfort,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew it was creepy as hell at the same time. And so I remember my first couple of nights not really being able to sleep, and then I remember sensing this man, because it was an older man. The spirit was an older man. And he died in a chair in the house. It was actually downstairs in the basement. The basement, it was kind of like a full basement. And you could tell like it was I don't know if you want to call it like a game room or something, but you could tell it was used for something and like actually sat in and lived in. But I remember being really scared because I couldn't hear him audibly.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see him physically, but I knew he was there. I felt him there. I sensed his presence. And then I started getting like different feel. I don't remember what the first thing he showed me was. But I started getting like different feelings very strongly. I started getting smells. And then smells would match what I was being shown. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't have to explain it too much. But I don't actually see them. I don't hear them. I get imprints of what they want to show me. Say I'm talking to someone and they're like, okay, a lot of times I have people that tell me what their regrets were or what they want their family to know. A lot of times they'll show me how they passed. There's a lot of family members that'll ask, were they okay? Were they in pain? What did they feel? Or like, are they in pain now? Are they at peace now? And a lot of times they'll just show me what their last moments were like. And I remember that being the first experience I had, was him showing me how he died. I felt a lot of pain in my chest, and I felt like I was gonna double over. I remember my knees hitting the ground. I remember the pain in my chest, and I remember hearing, "I'm sorry," and then it went away. And I didn't feel him anymore.
Mm.
And the next couple of nights, it came kind of slower. And then I kind of started slowly realizing that I was communicating with him without talking to him. And I don't think we lived there that long. I know it wasn't a whole school year. I want to say it was like 6, 7 months or so, but during that time, I kind of started to realize the different things. And I realized that when I asked him questions, he could hear me and he could communicate back and forth with me. That whole town is kind of creepy. If anybody's ever been to La Junta, Colorado, it's creepy. So doing different things in that town, I would sense different people. And at first, again, when I first started this gift, I didn't really know what I was doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that these people, sometimes I didn't know that these people were dead. A lot of times the energy was so strong, I would think people were really sitting next to me talking.
Wow.
Because it would be so strong and it was so familiar, and I felt so connected to them. So I don't know. It was definitely weird until I figured out what I was doing. For a long time, I thought it was crazy. Um, a long time, I thought what I was feeling because I just didn't know what it was, and I thought it was schizophrenic for a while. Um, like growing up with this. I mean, yeah, it's not easy. I mean, a lot of times I don't even want the intrusion,
Right.
but then it's like what I do is really a gift, and these are people that can't get through to their loved ones. So I don't know. Kind of got used to it after a while.
Yeah. How old were you when this experience happened with that? I don't know if you
I
said
want to say 11.
11.
I want to say 11, but it was between 10 and 12.
Okay.
Because that was the most time that I lived in Colorado, but I want to say it was 11. I'm pretty sure it was 11.
Okay.
And I'm 31 now, so that's 20 years of learning and developing my gifts, and honestly they've never been as strong as now as they are now since I moved to Texas. So
Right. So with that being so you realize that you had the gift of mediumship, but obviously you didn't realize it in that moment. Um
yeah, not at
when
all.
how old were you when you realized that looking back on it, you were like, oh, this is what I've been dealing with. This is what I have. This is the gift that I have, and I can help people possibly with this.
Actually, my sister is the one that labeled me. She I kind of, it was already after I'd started doing readings and started doing spirit connections and stuff, and I was sitting down with my sister one day, and she was just like, dude, you're a medium. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you communicate with the dead. That's all you can call it, is being a medium. I'm like, no, it's not that. We just hang out type thing. Like, I'm just helping people. And she's like, dude, you can literally connect and call to any spirit that you want, no matter what we're doing. You get answers right away. You are a medium. I'm like, all right, fine. So I just kind of accepted it, and I mean, but she's right. I mean, I sit down with people all the time, and I'm like, dude, who's this person? Because they're standing there and they want me to tell you this. And honestly, a lot of people get freaked out. But some spirits are very persistent, and won't leave you alone until they say what they need to say, or they tell whatever person what they need to tell them. So a lot of spirits aren't able to pass on until they're acknowledged, until, the people. I've encountered some spirits who their family didn't even know they passed. And they couldn't move on until that happened. So, I mean, everybody is so different, and in spirit, they're very, very similar. So a person that was very mean or blunt in real life is like that in spirit as well. But a lot of people, more people than we realize, have regrets about life. Um, so a lot of times they just want to get that out or tell people they're sorry. And I've had a lot of people tell me I don't want to hear it. But for that spirit to have peace, it needs to be said.
Right.
So
So you're at the point now where you can literally call specific spirits.
yeah, and it's actually kind of fun. There's this one gentleman spirit that he was actually from one of my first clients, and a lot of times he'll just come and sit. He had passed away. It was an accident, so he wasn't ready to go. Um, and he'll just come and sit. I mean, and it's a familiar spirit, and I think a lot of times they enjoy talking to us. I mean, I've had people tell me it's lonely. They're there, but they can't talk to their family members. They go and sit and visit, or a lot of them, like grandmothers and stuff. A lot of grandmothers after they pass, they'll go, "Hey, I went and sat at my grandson's birthday, and couldn't, I couldn't say anything." A lot of them get frustrated, and it's sad because they just want to be known.
Hmm.
They just want our family members, our ancestors, just want us to know that they're still there. I tell people all the time, if you're eating something that is one of your ancestors' favorite, especially someone you were connected with closely, leave them a plate. They're with us. Like, they literally walk with us all the time. Make them they're forgotten if we don't carry on their name.
That makes sense. So,
So.
like with the guy, this
Mm-hmm.
he comes see you often, and you just sit and talk with him.
I wouldn't say often. I wouldn't say often, but
Okay.
I'll definitely get a visit at least like twice a year. He'll just come sit in the corner of a room and watch for a few minutes and then leave. I think it's a comfort thing. That he knows someone can hear him, and yeah, sometimes he talks, sometimes he just sits there. I think
Hmm.
that he comes and checks on me. To be honest,
Right.
because a lot of times he won't speak. He'll just sit. And it does get kind of creepy sometimes, especially when I'm with other people, because some people can feel it and they'll be like, "Okay, hold on. I feel like I'm being watched." You are. Don't worry about it. It's cool though. Um, but a lot of spirits, like especially if it's somebody that I've helped a lot, they'll come check in on us. I was actually in a car accident 2.5 months ago, and I felt like I should have died in that car accident. And I think a lot of I felt the presence of a lot of people, and I think it was just people I've helped, or um previous spirits I've connected with, because it was too many to be the people that I usually walk with, that usually stay with me.
Right.
Like my grandmother, my favorite grandfather who passed away. Those are spirits that are always with me, but this felt like an immense rush of energy. So I know they come and make sure that we're safe, and I mean, I've had people tell me that too, but not only that, there's a lot of spirits that don't even want to be heard. They just want to check and make sure you're okay.
Right.
There's people I've tried to reach out to. I work in a hospital. Okay, I work in a hospital. So, and I actually, mainly because of my gifts, I am able to help a lot of my patients, and it's stressful, but it's worth it to me. So anyway, there's a lot of times where I'll see people, especially with my patients that I know for a fact have signs that they're dying. A lot of times I'll see family members or spirits off just sitting, and they won't communicate with me. Because I'm curious, I'll ask them questions. I'll ask about different things that I want to know, because I mean, a lot of them want to talk. And then you have people like some of these spirits in the hospital that are just there for comfort, that are just there to walk their loved ones over when they're ready to go. And they're solemn. They don't want to communicate. They're just here.
Right. So you can you do like can you communicate with a spirit when you're talking through like Zoom, like you and like the three of us are right now? Like, would you be able to do
What, you
that?
want to know who's with you? You want
Yeah.
to know who's with you?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. I do sense a woman with kind of shorter curly hair. Um, I feel her. I smell cookies. I smelled cookies when you first came on.
Okay.
I smelled cookies, and mainly chocolate chip, but I did smell cookies when I first came on. This is an older woman. I wanna say she's a grandmother. I wanna say she's your grandmother, but she's definitely a matriarch. She has very strong features, but soft at the same time. Like, she's one of those women that are don't mess with me. Um, and it's very comfortable. She's a very comforting woman, but I do feel like she's very, very stern. Like you definitely wouldn't talk back, but you wouldn't be scared to go ask for advice. But the food and the baking stuck out to me the most.
Okay. Tanya, what do you think? What does that
Uh,
sound like?
I was thinking Grammy Mary, but I don't know enough about her to know um like the cookies. I'm not sure, but she definitely, I remember her being like a soft but stern woman,
Yeah.
but I didn't know her that well to say for sure, but definitely, having short curly hair, that's Graham.
I was also thinking of Great Graham.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know if she had curly hair, but
She did.
oh, yeah, you're talking about Grammy Mary's mother.
No, I'm talking about um Grammy Vera
Grammy Mary. Oh,
Graffam.
oh, yeah, it could be her too. Yeah, I never met her, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I remember mom always saying that she used to run her hands through my hair and talk about how beautiful my eyes were when I was little.
Aw.
So, um, so I on this kind of like topic, I had a girlfriend in
Uh
high school that randomly just started talking about how I have a spirit following me, and she said almost the
huh.
exact same shit that you just said. Um, and she said that she used to watch my baseball games, and my girlfriend at the time, she didn't, she had never seen like any of my baseball pictures because they weren't up in the house or anything.
Uh huh.
But she's like, she
It's
is
funny.
telling me that you were a blue number 10, and when I played on a blue team, my number was 10. And she's like, she
Uh
has
huh.
curly hair and glasses.
Yeah.
It's
So
funny that you say that because when you were asking Tanya about who she thought it was, I heard a lot of kids.
a lot of kids.
I heard a lot of kids around. I thought maybe I was thinking maybe it was someone who had a lot of kids, who was a family woman, because I feel them running around me. Um, I
You've
feel
got to be
them
kidding.
like there's a house. I feel like I'm sitting on a porch and I have a bunch of kids running around me. And I'm laughing. Um, I felt like that was her happiness.
That
To have a lot of kids around. So
That would
that's
be great,
amazing.
Graham.
That's definitely great, Graham.
She had 19 kids.
She had
oh
17
wow. Well, I
kids.
guess that
17,
was her
17.
saying, "Hey, no, it's me."
She has so I think our grandmother was the second oldest, right,
I th-
Tonya?
I think she was the third oldest, but she was the oldest girl.
Oh, okay. I know she did a lot of helping, and I do know Great Graham did a lot of baking. That's where Graham gets it from.
That makes sense.
And I wonder if that was the significance of the baking because it became like a bonding thing for her and her family. I wonder if that's not why that she wanted to show me that the most, because I mean if you have that many kids you're not going to go buy pasty cakes, right? I mean I'm gonna make I'm gonna make these cookies because
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought 19, but thanks for correcting me
Well,
because that would have been false.
I mean, I don't think anybody ever gets it right the first time because there were so
That's
many.
true.
But I think that's so funny that she started showing you the kids when I started saying, "Oh, I think it's, the incorrect person," because she was like, "Now listen here, you
Yep.
little bitch."
Yeah, that's almost how it was too. It was kind of like a slap in the face, like, no, tell her the kids, tell her the kids. So it's funny that you say that.
Oh, that's so
So
funny. Mom's downstairs. I can't wait to go tell her that after we're done here because that's hilarious. She's gonna get a kick out of that.
So are you, that's attachment to me, correct?
I feel it mostly with you. Yes, I don't feel it with Tanya. There's actually a gentleman that I feel with Tanya.
Okay.
But I feel that woman definitely attached to you. She's definitely watching you. She's definitely following you through life. She's definitely your spirit guide. She definitely became your spirit guide. What there's something, what's the heirloom?
Heirloom?
What's the heirloom that's passed down? Is it jewelry? Is there a piece of jewelry that
I
somebody
personally
has
don't know.
of theirs, of your grandmother's?
If there is,
Oh,
my grandmother would have it.
I think I might know what it is, but I don't think I don't um I'm not sure. So I know that Elsie is her name, was married
Uh-huh.
to someone who was in the military and he got a Purple Heart. But and it was supposed to be hers when he died. It was supposed to be given to her. But his dad took it and wouldn't give it to her. And I think my grandmother just got it back not too long ago.
I
They met his family and his son or whoever ended up, or his nephew, whoever ended up with it after his dad died, gave it to my grandmother and said, this should have been your mother's and now it should be yours. I would like you to have it.
That's why she was telling me she was happy at home. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay,
I have to
that's where
tell
the
mom
jewelry
that
comes in.
too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's what that meant then. Because I didn't know what it. She was like, just tell them that she was like, just tell them I'm happy at home. And I kept feeling like it was a brooch. I kept feeling like it was a brooch. So that would make sense to be a Purple Heart because it's a metal, right? That hangs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that would make sense of why I thought it was a brooch. Okay.
Yeah. That's the only heirloom I can think of, and I think it would make a lot of sense for her to be happy that was home because I guess so the story is that he was her half brother's half brother. So they weren't, together, but he married her because his
Right.
dad was abusing her. And so he married
Uh-huh.
her to get her out of the house. So after he died in the war, his dad just continued to be an asshole to Elsie. Um,
Yeah.
so so I think she'd be happy that was home. So that's awesome that she was able to convey that. I think my mom and grandma are going to be really happy to hear that she knows that it's home and she's thrilled about it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help.
Oh man, I'm curious on the male that you feel with Tanya.
So I don't feel him real close. I do feel him in the corner of the room. He's kind of hanging. He's the only thing he's showing me is he's a bigger guy. He's like linebacker size. Like he's got very broad shoulders.
Okay.
And I mean, okay, excuse me, but everybody's taller than me. I'm like 5 foot nothing, so I feel him to be tall. But to normal people, he may not be tall. Okay. But he's kind of just hanging on in the back of the room. He doesn't really want to be known.
Oh, okay.
But his energy is definitely there. But he's a broader shoulder guy. He's a bigger guy. He's definitely not fat. But he's very. I mean, he's defined. He's a bigger guy. But he doesn't really want to be known. But that's who I feel. That's who I feel is with Tanya.
Okay.
Do you get a sense of his age?
First of all, I don't feel like he's family.
Oh, okay.
I don't feel like he's family. I feel honestly what I feel from him is he's someone that you have encountered in your life that you made a difference to. And so he just kind of stayed with you. But age, he's definitely not an old guy. He's definitely not an old guy. He's older than me. Um, he's been dead a little while. He's been gone a little while. I can kind of tell by their spirit energy. I want to say it's been at least 5 years or so. Like he's been gone a little while. And honestly, from his build and the way he's standing, the way he's presenting himself, I want to say he's mid-40s.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know who that could be. You know, who I was thinking, Kevin, I was thinking of Mike, but then she said mid
Mike,
40s, and that's not
Mike who?
Ruby.
Oh, he
Because
doesn't have broad shoulders though.
well, he was a bigger dude, and
No,
he wasn't family.
This guy, the shoulders are sticking out to me.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got broad shoulders. The shoulders are sticking out to me the most.
Yeah. Okay.
Why I feel bad. I'm not sure who that could be.
I'm sure you could
He's
figure it out.
definitely not family.
Yeah, I'm
He's
sure if
definitely not family.
So I made a difference for him, not necessarily vice versa. So it might make sense that I don't remember him.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely not family. He's definitely not somebody. I don't feel a really close connection to you and the spirit. So it may just be someone. I mean, you'd be surprised how much of a difference even sitting down and telling someone that we care makes. A lot of people don't have family. A lot of people don't have loved ones. And something as simple as a conversation sticks with people through their lives. So, Tanya, who knows? You could have gave someone a better day, and they stick with us. We never do know how much of an impact that we make in people's lives. And life is so short. We never know when it can end. So who knows? You could have
Right.
them pump his gas for all we know. You know what I mean? It's definitely not someone you were close to, though. No.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad for not being able to think of who it could be, but
Right.
that's awesome that he's sticking with me though. Makes me feel good to know that I made a difference.
And he doesn't feel I hate that word. He doesn't feel malevolent at all. He just it kind of feels like someone that's just kind of sitting there watching over you, because he's not, by depth of where he is in like where he feels in relation to you, he doesn't want to be communicated with. He doesn't want you to be like, can I help you? He's kind of just, I really feel like he's kind of just someone that watches over you and makes sure and keeps you safe.
Okay.
He's not someone who's important to you at all.
Okay.
He's just kind of someone that's there.
So
Alright.
you technically don't even need to know who he is, because she said that he doesn't even want to be known before she even said anything.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to be, messed with or anything. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't want anything from you. He's there.
All right.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm kind of, I wish he would say who he is, because I'm kind of curious, but I'll respect his boundaries.
Very, very noble of you.
Yes, very.
So, Lee, have you ever had any negative experiences with any of this?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would call them negative. I mean, I've encountered spirits that are not good people. I've experienced spirits who aren't the nicest people, but I mean, I guess just like people in life, if you give people respect, they can respect you. And I mean, and also there's a lot of things that I do that keep me protected. Like, I don't walk without my quartz. I don't walk without my obsidian. I don't leave the house without them. So, I mean, I have other protections. I have my dad's ashes that I keep with me. I keep them in my wallet so I never lose them. So things like that I put in place, and I always, my first prayer of the day is, do not allow any spirits to access me that do not have my best interest at heart. And I've gotten to the place where I can sense who is and is not good. And I just don't allow them. I simply don't allow them near me. I got to the point where I can push their energies away, and I just don't allow them near me. But I have talked to some people who weren't the best people in life, and a lot of them have regrets. A lot of them don't want um, to be that person and didn't want to be that person in their last moments. A lot of times they regret treating people like that. And some of them are just plain, excuse my language, assholes, and they just don't care, and they're just like that in death too. And I don't know, I'm a sarcastic person, so I kind of get along with everybody.
So you haven't experienced any kind of like demon or anything like that?
Demons, to me, demons is a Christian concept.
Right.
I have absolutely sensed energies that have never been human.
Oh.
But I mean, again, it's all in what you allow to access your presence with. It's all in what you allow to access your being. But as far as demons, to me, it's a Christian concept, and I don't believe in a demon as a demon. I mean, at the end of the day, I fight energy with energy. So, I mean, good luck. Let's play. But I don't. I think a lot of times those spirits are manipulative and are just outwardly negative, and they're going to cause harm when you don't acknowledge it. I mean, I don't know, it's all in what you believe, I guess.
Right.
I believe in giving respect to the spirits, to any spirit, whether there were or were not human. I've encountered purely good spirits that weren't necessarily human. So I mean, I think we have to understand that life is an acceptance of negative and positive, and polarity is everything. We all have bad in us. We all have good in us. In order to be true to ourselves, we have to accept both sides of that. So, I mean, I think it's all an acknowledgement thing. If you fight what you feel is evil, I mean, it's gonna turn around and bite you, basically. Don't fight something you know nothing about.
Right. Right. Makes sense. So you, by saying all that, I'm gathering that you're not religious or you don't claim a religion. I would assume that you would say that you're spiritual. Is that a correct
I'm very
accusation?
spiritual. I'm definitely spiritual. I grew up Catholic, so it's kind of funny that I'm not religious anymore. But I grew up Catholic, and I follow what feels good to me. I guess there's pieces of every religion that I kind of use in practice. But no, I'm not a really religious person. I believe in the power of energy. I believe in nature. I believe in the power of self. I guess you can call me pagan, but I mean, there's a lot of things from paganism I don't believe in. So, I mean, I guess I'm just kind of a seeker of truth.
That's a good way to be. My sister was baptized in Catholicism.
Oh, not just any Catholicism, Roman Catholicism. The big
What's that?
Oh
bads.
God.
What's the difference? I don't know.
The Romans are the ones that
Beating.
yes, they're the Vatican. They follow the Vatican. They have the big grand churches. They have these big grand ceremonies. Even like their weddings are just like a mass.
The Vatican is just a secret society to take over the world.
Well, I was 11 at the time, so
Yeah, there's a
I
lot of
didn't
truth in
know or
that.
care about any
There's
of that.
definitely a lot of truth in that.
It's true.
I mean, they own the banks, so
They do, actually. The banking did start in with the Vatican and the church.
So,
Sorry guys, you're cutting out on me. So if you can't hear me, I'm sorry.
oh, I can hear you,
Yeah,
and
I
I
can
can
hear
see
you.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear
you
us. You
got
too.
full
Some
bars.
technical.
You guys cut
Tanya
out
has
for a
full
minute.
bars. I got full bars.
No, it's me. I know it's me.
Is it
I
you?
know it's me.
Oh yeah, you're yellow
Yeah,
now.
it's me. I know it's me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's hope we don't have any disruptions. Maybe it's a spirit saying we shouldn't be talking about this stuff.
Right? Oh my, that's kind
No,
of
because
creepy.
it was right when we were talking about the Catholicism stuff, and well,
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. I've
Oh,
always felt like that was the most evil church I've ever been in. So that's why I left Catholicism. So it always felt creepy to me.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I was
for
just
sure.
on that note too. I was my last episode with Ron. Tanya wasn't a part of,
Uh-huh.
but he had his speaker up kind of sort of loud. So when I was talking, my voice was coming out of his speaker and going into his microphone. So you kind of like had a double of my voice. But he messaged me probably the night that I posted the episode with him, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, I'm getting a bunch of messages from a bunch of people that I know that listen to the episode, and they're saying there's other voices than you and I." And he goes, "And my TV was not on."
Ooh.
So I
Right.
listened back to it. I was trying to figure it out. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Do you have timestamps?" He was like telling me what was said. He's like, "I don't have timestamps. I didn't think of it." And I was like, "Oh
Uh-huh.
shit." So I was like, "All right, I'll check it out." And the first one that I heard, it was fairly early. I didn't even pay attention to the time because once I heard it, I just shut it off. I was like, "What the fuck?" But
Right.
can't remember exactly what I was talking about. I was talking about because we were talking about the sanitarium in Indiana, and I was talking about how there was a lot of murders in sanitariums and stuff like that, and not
Mm-hmm.
only murders but suspicious deaths. And as I'm talking, you just hear "you should run" like in the like echo.
What?
It was
That is
fucking. It was kind of
creepy.
creepy.
And it
So
definitely wasn't your voice echoing back.
yeah, no,
That's
and there
awesome.
was a time where I was sitting here like this, and I went, mm-hmm. And then the voice that came back goes, uh-huh.
No, I haven't listened to that
That's
one yet, but
awesome.
now I definitely have to.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm right. Now I'm gonna go look for it too because that's cool.
It was pretty interesting. The whole conversation with him was interesting. He's a wicked good dude. I like him a lot. Um, but yeah, no, he messaged me. He's like, "Am I going crazy? Am I going crazy?" And I listened to it and I was like, "I don't think you're
Right.
going crazy."
Well, no, did people like comment? I'm gonna go look at the YouTube of it and see if people were like commenting timestamps, make it easy for me, but
I don't think I can look right now,
that's what I'm looking
but
up
I
right
don't
now.
think there is. I think people just were commenting like how they liked it and stuff. And most of people that were commenting are people that he knows personally,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and they were just saying, "Oh, that was such a good interview." I have 8
Oh,
comments.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
don't
just
see
good
him.
interview, good show, awesome interview. Yeah. Yeah, no. Nobody said anything about voices on. I think they just messaged him and was like, "Hey, there's voices."
Yeah. That's creepy. I'll definitely have to listen to that one now.
So when did you decide to make this a business?
I don't know. I guess I just kind of started doing it and people started paying me and it just kind of went from there. I mean, there's been times where I've um not turned people down. I mean, out like I won't force somebody to like if somebody really needs help and they can't pay. I mean, I'll take them, I'll help them, but it just kind of people just kind of started paying me, and then I stamped it, put a label on it, Spellbound Sky. Uh, I don't think I ever, honestly, not until last year did I really sit down and think about actually forming an actual business where I make, business cards and get, LLC certified and, things like that. It kind of just happened. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I never really thought of it. I guess people just started paying and appreciating it. I mean, I at first, and I remember the first client that paid. It was a young lady. It was somebody I knew. I was staying in a hotel at this time. And I had run across her. We started talking, and we were sitting drinking wine one day, and I was like, "Who's this girl? She keeps like bothering me. She's like tapping me on the head, like she wants you to know that she's there." And she just started friggin' crying. She was like, "My best friend died when we were 15, and I that's her. That is her. That is her." Because at first I thought it was her twin sister, and she was like, everybody used to tell us we're sisters, but I thought it was her twin. Like they looked very similar. The young lady was a little taller than my friend, and so I thought they were sisters at first. And she ended up giving me some money at the end of the night. She was like, "You have to take this. I know you're not going to because I know you as a person, but you have to take this. Thank you. I appreciate everything you did." And then a few other people had paid me after that, and it kind of just went from I do it for fun to I made a business out of it. It's actually a good chunk of my livelihood. And a lot of times it takes a lot of energy out of me. Like it's very, 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 very tiring to connect with spirits because I do allow them to use me as kind of a conduit. And I mean, there's times I've slept for a whole day after. So I had to start to think about that too. Like this is taking a lot out of me health wise. So it kind of just made sense, I guess, after a while.
Yep. That's pretty cool though. That not only is it like fulfilling to help somebody, but it also helps you out in with obviously payment, but it's kind
Yeah.
of like wear and tear on your body a little bit. Well, maybe not your body, but your energy. So like the light within you and the spirit within you gets really tired trying to connect with these people. So I think it's
Yeah,
beautiful to help.
definitely.
I like helping people any way that I can if I can. So sometimes sometimes when I was a kid, I definitely wish that I had like kind of like a sense like that, but I
No,
think
you don't.
right. I think now like I don't think I would ever want that. So
It's definitely a gift and a curse. I'll tell you that much.
I believe it. I 100% believe that. John, you have any questions?
I wanted to actually talk about the tarot.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, so can you, first of all, what is like the kind of idea of tarot? Like what does it like why do people do tarot? Like how does it work and all that?
Well, let me pull some cards out and show you. Let
Sure.
me show you. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Okay.
So cards have different purposes for different people. A lot of people use them for guidance. Um, there's oh my gosh, I have clients that call me with any question. I mean, they won't get a new job without calling me first. But I mean, tarot has a lot of different meanings to different people, but it's just ways to get answers for different things. There's there's differences. Like I also do oracle readings, and oracle is slightly different than oracle cards are more situational. And they give direct answers. That's for like if you have a specific question, like why is this person doing this to me, or what do you feel from this situation? Where Tarot is more a mix of a group of cards together to give answers. For anything, honestly. I mean, I consult my cards with any big decision. I live my life by star patterns, to be honest. I don't make any big decisions unless I won't even go buy a car without consulting my tarot and making sure the stars aren't in disalignment because I do not want to be the one that's engines falling out going down the street, you know. So I guess it's all in your belief system. There's people that find a lot of peace in readings. There's people that have never believed that. Now I have clients for life. It's all in what you want to know, I guess. The one thing I'll tell you, don't ask a question you don't really want to know the answer to because spirits can't lie. Now we're talking human spirits here, okay? We're not talking about so-called demons because I have come across spirits that are manipulative. But I haven't had wrong answers. I've had a couple misleading answers or answers where I haven't gotten the full picture. But I've never had a completely wrong answer. And the spirits that I work with will tell the whole truth. So don't ask the cards and want to know the real answer to.
Right.
Right. So, would you ever do a tarot reading with somebody else's tarot deck? Is that a big no-no?
No, not touch anybody's tarot deck. Your energy. I take that back. One of my best friends does cards. Her a little different than mine, but I have used her deck. But that's only because I've worked with her before and we've done energy work and I know her energy is okay. Am I going to, I carry a tarot deck with me absolutely everywhere. This is my set for home. I have a second set for home. And I have one that stays in my purse or my work bag. I always walk with my deck because you never know. I have random people all the time that are like, hey, I've never got one. Let me get one. So I don't ever have a situation where I would read somebody's cards, but I've heard when I first started reading tarot, I had some kind of sort of mentors, but they never really stuck with me that long because I read more intuitively than by the book. And the first thing I was told when I started reading tarot was never ever read from somebody's deck, never let somebody touch your deck, wrap your deck in velvet, and always cleanse your deck. I cleanse after every reading, but I know some people only cleanse on the full moon. It's all in the energy in your cards. So no, I absolutely will not use somebody's deck unless I try not to use somebody's deck. No.
Okay. So what are the reason I ask is because my mother has a tarot deck and I got curious like a couple weeks ago and I was like, oh, I'll do a reading for myself because I didn't think anything of it. And then I told her, I was like, that reading that I just got didn't make any sense. And she's like, don't touch my tarot deck. You're not supposed to touch someone else's tarot deck. It's bad luck. So like, what do you know of are some things that could happen if you do a reading with someone else's deck?
To me, I don't really believe it's an actual thing that can happen. Your deck is when I first started reading, the way that I was taught to like get in touch with your deck was to sleep with it. And hold it to your heart, hold it to your energy. So I walked around with it in my bra, for instance. But you have to understand that tarot is a way to access the soul. So you are basically touching and playing with somebody's essence. Someone like me who lived their entire life by spirit energy, my every tear, every laugh, every disappointment is in my tarot deck. So it's you're accessing that, you're touching that. you don't want that. You don't want this person's sorrow and pain now attached to your essence. Because yes, we cleanse our decks, but there's some people that have worked with their same deck for 80, 90 years. Can you imagine how much energy is in that deck?
Right. Yeah.
So it's more like an energy transference thing. I've never had anything bad happen to me when I've used my friend's deck, but again, we've done energy work and stuff together. So, but I will refuse to touch even something simple that's personal to someone I don't feel right about. So, I mean, I guess I'm a little more careful than other people, but
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I never heard of, because to me it was like, taking someone else's deck of cards and like playing solitaire or whatever. I had never heard of,
nah.
you don't mess with someone else's tarot deck, and I was like, well, I guess that's why my reading made no sense. But uh, but yeah,
And honestly, if you're not connected to those cards, um, sometimes you just won't understand it. That's why it's so important to bond with your cards and create a connection to them before you start reading with them. So it very well even could have been they did make sense. You weren't connected to that specific deck.
okay, that's interesting.
So, moral of the story, Tanya, get your own fucking tarot deck.
In fact,
For real.
don't order them online. Don't order them online. If you do go get a deck, don't order them online. Go to a store. I tell everybody that wants to read cards. I bought my sister a deck online because she really wanted this deck. But normally I would tell people, do not order your cards online. Feel their energy before you choose your deck. Go see them in person. Pick the deck that calls to you. Pick the deck that gives you that tingle. Pick the deck that you are tied to. Don't and you can't really do that online. That's like crystals. Get the crystals that call to you, that feel like you have to have them. If you walk across the deck and you cannot leave it alone, you keep thinking about it, buy it.
Solid advice. Yeah.
Solid advice. Are you gonna go get your own tarot cards now?
I mean, I've been wanting to, but I can't justify the cost at the moment.
Yeah.
I
feel you. I feel you, dog. I feel you. So, what do you think about Reiki? If you know anything.
It's not my thing, it's not my gift, but it's very truthful. I mean, there's so much. We have an energy center called the Kundalini, and we have the power, or we did many years ago until we had evolved out of it, but we have the power of self-healing. Chakra balancing, I very much believe in it, 100%. I have went and got Reiki healing where the practitioner is very, very good at it. I've gotten some that person is horrible and they're lying and they shouldn't do it. But if someone is truly gifted in Reiki and energy healing, it's a sublime experience. It's something that cannot be unmatched. 100% go.
Okay.
100% green light on Reiki healing. Yes, I love the idea of it. And I mean, think about it. If everybody figured out that we can heal ourselves, pharmaceuticals would go out of business. And I'm in medicine, so that's kind of bad for me to say. I'd be out of a job. But we have the divine power to heal ourselves, especially us as women. We have the divine power to heal ourselves. We have the divine power to heal our men. But again, a lot of people don't accept they're bad. In order for us to heal ourselves, or in order for us to access our Kundalini, we have to be at peace with both our negative and our positive selves. We have to achieve polarity for us to have that power within us. So, I mean, 99% of the population wouldn't even know what to do with it, because we aren't at peace with ourselves. So,
Well, I think a lot of this, like spirituality and like connecting with your inner self and all that, gets swiped under the rug with, because a lot of the world today, like media and whatnot, it's all fear mongering, and
Yep.
when we stay in a constant state of fear, we're not connecting with our light.
Well, we're at fear because we don't understand and we choose not to understand.
Right.
And think about it, religion makes us so scared of anything unknown.
Right.
Who's going to test that?
Exactly. So I just went and had my first Reiki session yesterday. First time ever.
How'd you like it?
It was interesting. So I went and had it with so it was a woman that was episode 8. Her name's Dramessa,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember everything about the conversation we had, Tanya, but did we tell her that we were native in that episode?
I don't think I don't remember us ever talking about that on the podcast.
Okay. Cuz while she was doing the thing, she was getting a lot of like she was telling me that like native like I need a drum, and I
Mm-hmm.
like drum music will soothe me and help me, and she just kept like saying a lot of things about you know, Native American vibes and stuff like that. um
Mm-hmm.
but there was a couple times that I cried while she was doing her thing, and she'd be talking, and like it wasn't like a blubbery cry or like an ugly cry. It was just like I would just get like this like a kind of like a shiver, and then my eyes would just start watering,
Mm-hmm. Peace. It's
and
called peace.
huh.
I said it's called peace.
Yeah. But she did say that I had a spirit guide come forth. um she said that her name was Eloise and she looks like a tree, and she said
Hmm.
that what this spirit guide was telling her was that I need to combine all the elements. So like earth, wind, fire, water. If I can connect on more of a consistent basis with the elements, that it would help center me, which I'm always outside as much as possible. I do a lot
Hmm.
of earthing or grounding. So I try to
Hmm.
connect with mother pretty often, but I haven't worked with fire in a long time. I haven't even sat in front of, usually or like fall season, I'm usually sitting in front of a fire with a beer, just kind of hanging out because that's my thing. Like the feel of
Right.
fire no matter what time of year. So, um, but I'm also a fire sign if you believe in astrology. So it's like fire is kind of healing for me. So, but she also, there's a woman that she knows that she's friends with that does intuitive massage. So she'll give you a massage and she can tell you things about yourself or whatever. So she's kind of like a medium kind of thing, but not.
Right.
And I guess supposedly she can help you with your past life too.
Hmm.
And then there's a guy that she also knows that she is gave me information on. He's he's like a shaman kind of thing. He's not native, but he like
Okay.
practices the shamanic medicine, and he does fire
Uh-huh.
walks. And she was like,
Huh.
yeah. So she was like, Eloise is telling me that you need to implement fire, and so I know this guy, he does fire walks and it could be really healing. She's like,
Uh-huh.
I did it for myself and it was, really great. So, and she had this deck of cards that she had me pull from. I'm going to
Hmm.
get the pictures she sent me for that. Um, so they weren't tarot. I'm not sure. I can't remember what she called them, but the three cards that I pulled were withdraw, play, and connect to heart. So I'm not gonna go through them, but essentially, um, there are maybe people or things that I need to withdraw my energy from. With the withdrawal, I can connect to my heart, and then play is I need to implement more time to goof around, which I feel like I do a lot anyway. But at the same time, I feel like it's there because it's necessary for me, as probably the goofiest person I've ever met in my life is myself. So,
Right.
I what
That's
do
neat.
you
That's pretty cool.
do you happen to know what those cards are? Because I can't remember what she said they were.
Well, first of all, those sound like oracle cards.
Oracle.
And honestly, the first, yes. And while you were telling me your cards, I kind of got the image of the devil card. And the devil card is letting go of habits. It's letting go of habits that don't serve you. It's letting go of things that you want to change in your life that is maybe not necessarily causing you harm,
Mhm.
but not keeping you on the path of peace. A lot of times this is stuff like overeating or smoking, things like that. So that was the first that was the first thing that came to my mind. So um, I'm assuming it was, spirit telling me that she was talking about habits, to switch up your habits. And oh, there was one other card. My ADD just kicked in real bad. Because one of your cards stuck out to me, and then whoo, see a squirrel. Um, what was the third card you said she pulled? It was the third
Play.
one.
The third one was play.
Play, yes. What I felt immediately, because the only two things that I felt when you were telling me are, first of all, the devil card, but the other thing that stuck out to me was that play card. And for me, it felt like it was telling you to stop being a workaholic, and take time to enjoy your hard work, and start accepting your playfulness. Don't hide it from people. Be who you are all the time, and have fun with it. I mean, I do definitely get a workaholic energy from you. So I think that's what it was saying was, take time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Um, Stop chasing outside stuff and enjoy your life. Enjoy your fun. Enjoy your goofiness. Be that. Have that childish energy. Have that childish sense of not having the responsibilities. Enjoy your life. Stop working so damn hard.
I feel that. I'm on track to work 6 days this week, and I work 12 to 14 hours mostly. So
Gross.
yeah, I
Right? I was just thinking that too.
and there was a time throughout the summer too where there were times where I was working 6 days, and then the seventh day I would do a side job. So doing a different completely job.
Also, you are a workaholic.
Yeah. Yep. And then I stress myself out because I start house projects. So I have my own house, so I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. And I start them, and then it takes me a month, maybe 2 months to finish them because I'm always working. And then when I get home, I'm like, fuck this.
And then that's when I get phone calls.
Right.
Tanya, can you come paint my cabinets?
Yeah. Which I haven't finished yet. I still have one more door. I have two more cabinet doors to paint, and then I still have the drawer to paint. So
Jeez. My goodness, man.
I know, but it's coming together. It's coming together. I started my
Maybe
stairs
that's the
last
habit
year.
that you need to get rid of is procrastinating.
Yes. Yes. I do. I do that a lot too. Every aspect of my life I procrastinate. I always think like I want to do that or I don't want to do that, and then I'll sit there and think about it for like ever, and then I either won't do it when I know that I want to, or I will
Uh-huh.
do it when I know that I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Well, there's your answer to your first question. Then what is it telling me? There you go.
Right, exactly. So, um, are you finding fulfillment in um your work, your spirit work, and all that?
Well, I'm definitely a healer. I am also in. I think I mentioned earlier I was in medicine. I'm also getting my degree in nursing. So in all aspects of my life, I'm a healer. And yeah, I do get a lot of fulfillment. I think when it's finally my time to sit and pass on, I think I will be at peace with how I lived my life because I have helped a lot of people. I'm sure I've pissed just as many off, but I have definitely helped a lot of people, and yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm like I said, I mean, it's definitely a gift and a curse. There's sometimes I get overwhelmed and I don't want it anymore. I mean, there's been plenty of times I've sat and prayed for it to go away. But I wouldn't ask for anything else. I'm very happy with it.
Nice. That's beautiful. I love that for you. I really do. You have kids, right?
Yeah, I have two boys. I do.
How old are they?
11 and 9.
11 and 9. Ooh, those are good ages. Do they know all about your like mediumship and all that? Or are they
Well,
aware?
I don't know. It's not I don't know. It's not something I guess I've ever discussed with them. I don't know. I think in a way, sometimes what I do is very scary, and sometimes in a way I want to protect them from knowing.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I don't know. I guess in a way I try to protect them from even knowing there's a spirit world, even though I mean they've had people that have passed on. They know what I guess happens with death, but I guess in a way I don't want them to think people get stuck and can't move on. To them, death is they just go right to heaven. They die and just go right to heaven, and that brings them peace. In the way that they can understand as children. And I guess in a way, I just don't want them to think that some people aren't happy when they die. So I don't know. I guess it's my way of protecting them.
That that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense actually. So, Tanya, you have any more questions on your end?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Mm.
All right. Do you have any closing statements that you would like to make? Any beautiful, grand kind of just about life or your life or anything?
Yeah,
Like
I'm definitely not one of those beautiful, big, grand statement kind of people. But Anybody is welcome to follow me. Anybody is welcome to send me a DM with questions or wanting a reading, or I welcome new clients. I welcome everybody in. I welcome questions. I welcome people needing help. So if anyone chooses to reach out, please reach out. Again, my Instagram is, well, the one I'm on most often is unapologetically22. And anybody is welcome to reach out. I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of a basic, boring person, so no, I don't have any grand statement. But thank you guys so much for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming.
It was definitely this is definitely only the second time I've done something like this so thank you guys so much
Oh my
for
goodness.
the experience.
Wow,
And you
yeah.
guys are both awesome.
I love talking to you. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome talking to you. I had a great time.
Mm.
You have just left the land of where the weird ones are. You've crossed through multiple dimensions. You've traveled through space and time. You have arrived back to your destination, where time isn't even real, and everything you see is a figment of your imagination.